So this time we're going to learn lesson 5.3, percentages. Let's start. A percentage is a fraction with a denominator of 100. The symbol used to represent percentage is percent. To find 40% of 25, you simply need to find 40/100ths of 25, using what you know about multiplying fractions. So 40/100ths of 25 equals 2. So you simplify 40/100ths to 2/5. And 2/5 times 25. What? And then you cross out 5 and 25. Now you get your answer. 2 ones times 5 ones equals 10. So 40% of 25 equals 10. Equivalent forms. A percentage can be converted into a decimal by dividing by 100. Notice that the digits move 2 places to the right. So 45% equals 45/100ths equals 0.45, and 3.1% equals 3.1/100ths, or 0.031. A decimal can be converted to a percentage by multiplying by 100. Notice that the digits move 2 places to the left. So 0.65 equals 65/100ths equals 65%. And 0.7 times 100 is 70%. Converting percentages to vulgar fractions and vice versa involves a few more stages. Work example 9. Convert each of the following percentages to fractions in their simplest form. 25%, 30%, and 3.5%. So all of these you write with a fraction with a denominator of 100, and then you simplify to its simplest form. And remember that a fraction that contains a decimal is not in its simplest form. Work example 10. Convert each of the following fractions into percentages. A 20th and an eighth. So you find the equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. Remember to do the same thing to both the numerator and denominator. And do the same thing to 1/8. Although it is not always easy to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100, any fraction can be converted into a percentage by multiplying by 100 and canceling. First example 11. Convert the following fractions into percentages. 3/40 and 8/15. So you take these numbers and then you times it by 100 once. You get your answer, you simplify it. If you can't, then that's just the fractions, just your answer. And then turn the fraction into a decimal. Exercise 5.7. Convert each of the following percentages into fractions in the simplest form. 70%, 75%, 20%, 36%, 15%, 2.5%, 215%, 132%, 117.5%, 108.4%, 0.25%, 0.002%. Question 2. Express the following fractions as percentages. 3/5, 7/25, 7/25, 17/20, 3/10, 8/200, 5/12. Finding one number as a percentage of another. To write one number as a percentage of another number, you start by writing the first number as a fraction of the second number, then multiply by 100. Work example 12. Express 16 as a percent of 48. So, first write 16 as a fraction of 48. And then multiply by 100. So 16/48. And then you multiply by 100. And then you get your answer. But this may be easier if you write the fraction in its simplest form first. Like this. Express 15 as a percentage of 75. So, write 15 as a fraction of 75. Then simplify and multiply by 100. You know that 100 divided by 5 is 20, so you don't need a calculator. But again, this may be easier if you write the fraction in its simplest form first. Express 18 as a percentage of 23. You need to calculate 18/23 times 100, but this is not easy using basic fractions because you cannot simplify it further. And 23 does not divide neatly into 100. Fortunately, you can use your calculator. Simply type 18 divided by 23 times 100, and you get your answer. Exercise 5.8. Where appropriate, give your answer to three significant figures. Express 14 as a percentage of 35. Express 3.5 as a percentage of 14. Express 17 as a percentage of 63. 36 people live in a block of flats. 28 of these people jog around the park each morning. What percentage of the people living in a block of flats go jogging around the park? Jack scores 1934 in the test. What percentage of the marks did Jack get? Express 1.3 as a percentage of 5.2. Express 0.13 as a percentage of 520. Percentage increases and decreases. Suppose the cost of a book increases from $12 to $15. The actual increase is $3. As a fraction of the original value, the increase is 3/12, or 1/4. This is the fractional change, and you can write this fraction as 25%. In this example, the value of the book has increased by 25% of the original value. This is called the percentage increase. If the value had reduced, for example, if something was on sale in a shop, then it would have been a percentage decrease. Note carefully. Whenever increases and decreases are stated as percentages, they are stated as percentages of the original value. Work example 13. The value of a house increases from $120,000 to $124,800 between August and December. What percentage increase is this? So you first calculate the increase. You write the increase as a fraction of the original and multiply by 100. Then do the calculation, either in your head or using a calculator. The answer is 4% increase. Exercise 5.9. Applying your skills. Where appropriate, give your answer to the nearest whole percent. Over a 5-year period, the population of the state of Louisiana in the United States of America decreased from 4,468,976 to 4,287,768. Find a percentage decrease in the population of Louisiana in this period. Chanel 38 CDs 1 year and 46 the next year. Find a percentage increase. Our feature has enough seats for 450 audience members. At the renovation, it is expected that this number will increase to 480. Find a percentage increase. Sally works in an electrical component factory. On Monday, she makes a total of 363 components, but on Tuesday, she makes 432. Calculate the percentage increase. Interpolation Airlines carry a total of 383,402 passengers 1 year and 287,431 the next following year. Calculate the percentage decrease in passengers carried by the airline. Liquid evaporates steadily. In 1 hour, the mass of liquid in a laboratory container decreases from 0.32 kilograms to 0.18 kilograms. Calculate the percentage decrease. Increase and decreasing by a given percentage. If you know what percentage you want to increase or decrease an amount by, you can find the actual increase or decrease by finding a percentage of the original. If you want to know the new value, you either add the increase or subtract the decrease from the original value. Work example 14. Increase 56 by 10%, 15%, and 4%. So 10% of 56 equals 10/100 of 56. So first of all, you need to calculate 10 from 56 to work out the size of the increase. To increase the original by 10%, you need to add this to 56. If you don't need to know the actual increase, but just the final value, you can use this method. If you consider the original to be 100%, then adding 10% to this will give 110% of the original. So multiply 56 by 110/100, which gives 61.6. And then you just do the same to 15% and 4%. Work example 15. In a sale, all items are reduced by 15%. If the normal selling price for a bicycle is $120, calculate the sale price. Notice that reducing a number by 15% leaves you with 85% of the original. So you simplify 85% of the original value. Exercise 5.10. Increase 40 by 10%, 15%, 35%, 5%, and 4%. Increase 53 by 50%, 84%, 13.6%, 112%, a half percent. Decrease 124 by 10%, 15%, 30%, 4%, and 7%. Decrease 36.2 by 90%, 35.4%, 0.3%, 100%, and a half percent. Applying your skills. Question 5. The student usually works 30 hours per week, but decides that he needs to increase this by 10%. So to be sure that he can save enough for a holiday. How many hours per week will Sajid need to work? 12% sales tax is applied to all items of clothing sold in a certain shop. If a t-shirt is advertised for $12 before tax, what will be the cost of the t-shirt once tax is added? The oil feeder steps up its advertising campaign and manages to increase its audiences by 23% during the year. If 21,300 people watched plays at the oil feeder during the previous year, how many people watched plays in the year of the campaign? Question 8. The population of Creekville was 153,000 at the end of the year. Following a flood, 70% of the residents of Creekville moved away. What was the population of Creekville after the flood? Question 9. Anthea decides that she is watching too much television. If Anthea watched 12 hours of television one week and then decreased by 12% the next week, how much time did Anthea spend watching television in the second week? Give your answer in hours and minutes to the nearest minute. Reverse percentages. Sometimes you are given the value or amount of an item after a percentage increase or decrease was being applied to it, and you need to know what the original value was. To solve this type of reverse percentage question, it is important to remember that you are always dealing with percentages of the original values. The method used in work example 14b and c is used to help us solve these type of problems. A store is holding a sale in which every item is reduced by 10%. A jacket in the sale is sold for $108. How can we find the original price of the jacket? So if an item is reduced by 10%, the new cost is 90% of the original. 100 minus 10. If X is the original value of the jacket, you can write a formula using the new price. Notice that when times 90 100ths was moved to the other side of the equal sign, it became its reciprocal, 190s. So here's the important thing. Undoing a 10% decrease is not the same as increasing the reduced value by 10%. If you increase the sale price of $108 by 10%, you will get 110 100ths times $108, which is $118.8, which is a different and incorrect answer. Exercise 5.11. Question 1. If 20% of an amount is 35, what is 100%? Question 2. If 35% of the an amount is 127. What is 100%? Question 3. 245 is 12.5% of an amount. What is the total amount? The table gives the sale price and the percent by which price it was reduced by a number of items. Copy the table, then complete it by calculating the original prices. Question 5. A shopkeeper marks up goods by 22% before selling them. The selling price of 10 items are given below. For each one, work out the cost price, the price before the markup. $25, $200, $14.5, $23.99, $50.8, $45.8, $29.75, $129.2, $0.99, and 80 cents. Question 6. 7 students were absent from a class on Monday. This is 17.5% of the class. How many students are there in a class in total? How many students were present on Monday? A hat shop is holding a 10% sale. If Jack buys a hat for $18 in the sale, how much did the hat cost before the sale? Nick is training for a swimming race and reduces his rate by 5% over a 3-month period. If Nick now weighs 76 kilograms, how much did he weigh before he started training? The water in the pond evaporates at a rate of 12% per week. If the pond now contains 185 liters of water, approximately how much water was in the pond a week ago? So that's the end of lesson 5.3. Thank you and goodbye.